Hey, welcome. It's Brian, and this is Guitar Solo Reactions, and today we're back with another list from Guitar World. This came out in January of this year, and this is a kind of a rebuttal, a refute of the Rolling Stones 250 list that I did and many others have. I have already done from Guitar World the top 25 rock guitar players and the top 10 heavy metal players. I'm doing maybe four in total. And today we are doing the shred guitar players. And at number one, they of course have Steve Vai. I would definitely say he falls into that shred category. Although, maybe my generation of shred players or whatever. And then at number two, we have the amazing Yngwie Malmsteen. Incredible ear, incredible bending, and always in pitch, and just amazing technique. Do I always love everything he does? No. But the first 10 years of his career were incredible. I think he still plays incredibly. I haven't really kept up with him, but occasionally I'll watch something and it's always interesting to hear what he says, and he always sounds amazing. So, Yngwie Malmsteen, number two. I agree. Number three, Joe Satriani. I think for me, I would say no. I mean, I get what they're saying, but again, from my being in my 50s, I guess I might have said that a while ago. Definitely a great player and really brought instrumental guitar to the forefront, and definitely has elements of shred, but I would think he's more of a great songwriter that's an incredible guitar player. And when I think of shred kind of stuff in general, I think of just way over the top, like technique and stuff like that. Joe has a ton of technique, but I think he's also pretty reserved when he plays a song. He plays the melody, and that's kind of the forefront of the song, or the focus of the song is that melodic element that he's so amazing at. Number four is Paul Gilbert. I almost said Pill. That's not funny. Paul Gilbert, I would agree. I just happened to see Paul here in Portland at a small music shop where he had a trio. They played a lot of Hendrix, a lot of classic stuff, really none of his material. And it was still really, really incredible to hear him kind of repurpose so many great songs, so many classic songs, and then put some incredibly, incredibly great solos in there. And definitely on the shred side, but really tasteful as well. So he's a great guitar player. I can't say I know much about his career. Like, I haven't followed him. I always keep an eye on him. He's always in the forefront on Instagram and other things like that. And he sounds as credible as he did, in the late 80s, whenever his career started with Racer X. I knew about them. I've actually revisited them recently just because, I don't know, I just thought I should. Paul Gilbert, number four. Completely agree. Number five, John Petrucci. Yeah, I guess he falls into that. I would say out of these five, he's the one I listen to the least of, or have. I've never been a huge Dream Theater fan. There was one or two records I picked up and kind of got into, but I guess he would definitely fall into that category. I would mention someone like Jason Richardson is one that comes to mind. That's a newer player that definitely does that style, and I would kind of consider a shred player or whatever. I would also maybe even have like Scotty LePage, Page from Polyphia. I think he can do it. You don't really hear it, but I know he can. He's definitely got those kind of chops. At number six, Buckethead. I would definitely say he falls into that. This channel has done a lot of kind of reaction stuff to Buckethead, and he definitely has a lot of material out there, but when you kind of see him live, that's when he kind of really has all his kind of stuff going on, and he's got a cool amount of like tricks and kind of stuff like that, but as far as soloing and his technique, it's way up there. So I would definitely consider Buckethead a shredder. So, and I agree. Number seven, Guthrie Govan. Yeah, I guess he's a shredder. He kind of reminds me more of like a modern version of Joe Satriani, like taking in some more influences, stuff like that, and mixing it up, but he's still playing instrumental music. But he also kind of focuses on the melody element a little bit more. Not that Ingve doesn't or whoever, but he definitely has a little more of that stylistic comparison to Joe Satriani in my book. So I can't say I've listened to a lot of Guthrie, weirdly enough, but I know he's a great player. Number 8 is Jason Becker. I guess that's kind of an honorable mention in a certain way for me. I mean, I think he was really, really great. It's great he's still around. He's kind of hung on and kind of still remained viable as like a player and, is still talked about. That's really, really cool. I guess I just never got into, was it Cacophony was the band with Marty Friedman? I would personally say Marty Friedman's more of a shredder than Jason back then, even. So that's my 2 cents. I can't say Jason's a bad guitar player. Obviously, he's incredible to a certain extent, but it just never really resonated with me. So that's my kind of personal twist on it. Eric Johnson, and this, I think Eric's an incredible player. I love Eric Johnson. Is he got shred elements? Yeah, I mean, he's definitely a great, articulate, fast player, but I see him more as a compositional player that has tons of chops or something like that, if that makes sense. He kind of goes into that Joe Satriani-ish area where the song kind of takes the forefront and the elements add to the song. There's not necessarily always a lot of super high speed solos and, with a lot of notes. I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but that's not the push of his thing. So I kind of think that's a throwback to like my era kind of coming up kind of player. And I think maybe for lack of not exactly knowing who to put on this list, maybe this is the one part of the list that I think probably needs an update as far as like some more modern players. And I'm sure many of you that watch this will either agree with this list or have others to add. And like I said, I can't think of a ton of new players that are shredders, but I mean, we'll see what is on the end here and then kind of go from there. But so that was Eric Johnson. 10 is kind of a funny one. Michelangelo Badio, I think that's how you say his name. Yes, he shreds for sure, but I mean, to what point? He seems like a super nice guy in all their interviews, and he can definitely play. It's not my thing. It's way too much, like notes and, I don't know. It doesn't really resonate with me. I am not deriding his ability to play guitar or, that he's not good. It's just definitely not my thing. But is he a shred guitar player? Yes, probably one of the most. He, like back in the day, who was it? Like there was Guy Man Dude, Michael Firkins, Chris and Pelletry. I cannot remember how to pronounce his name, but he was in Rainbow, and that guy. I think he had the award of like the fastest guitar player, the most notes per minute or something a long time ago. And of course that is nonsense. But anyway, please in the comments if you know who I'm talking about, the Chris and Pelletry, something like that. I'm sure it's easier to pronounce than that. But anyway, on their honorable mention list, they have Tosin Abasi, sure. Sounds great to me. Steve Morris, definitely. But again, another player that mixed it up. It was a lot of compositional stuff. It wasn't all like basically a bed in which to kind of solo over kind of thing. Jeff Loomis, absolutely. Richie Kotzen, yeah, I guess. I think he's another player that's kind of plays for the song, but can really kind of go for it when he needs to. So, whatever I've heard by Richie in the last decade has always been pretty nice, kind of a little more blues rock focused than what I would consider shred. So there's that. Greg Howe is on here, definitely. I have not listened to Greg in a long, long time. Another player, uh, I'm trying to think of another player like him, and I'm drawing a blank. But there is a few other guys kind of from that era of the kind of neoclassical uh, Mike Varney kind of school of stuff. And who was the guy that played in Steve Vai's band? I'm drawing a blank on him, but he was one of those guys. He was like the keyboard player and guitar player in his band for a long time. And there's one other person I can't remember. He was in UFO recently and just kind of left UFO and had a long career. I'll have to put that in the comments or something when I think of it. But anyway, I agree with most of this. Kind of a cool list. The honorable mentions, I think, are a little less true to the shreddy elements. And I mean, it's such a ridiculous word, but really, really fun to do this. And I'm going to do one more, I believe. So, hey, if you're into guitar playing and you like this kind of thing, I have a lot of content that has to do with guitar playing, mostly reactions, but I am going to start working more on this kind of, I don't know, what do you call this, editorial or, I mean, satirical? I don't know, into my channel. So, I am Brian. Thanks for watching me. What are your favorite 5 shred guitar players? I'd love to add that to my list. Like I said, I kind of look at these lists just without really knowing what's on them, and I kind of always have one or two I think I can come up with pretty quickly that maybe are omitted and not even an honorable mention. So, Vinnie Moore, that's who I was thinking of. It took me a while. His first 2 records, Time's Out, man, it's been a long time. Those were shred records. They're kind of a neoclassical thing. I always liked him. He was great. And he went on to go play with UFO probably longer than any other guitar player has played in UFO. And I think he just recently moved on. But yes, Vinnie Moore is another guy that at least I know of that I kind of considered that shred kind of guitar player stuff. So anyway, hey, please like, subscribe, and comment. Put your favorite players in the comments, and I'd love to look at them. So thank you again. I'm Brian. See you soon.